Welcome to the Blitz Show, brought to you by Covers, where Derek Carty and his Blitz projections look to pick off the best plus EV plays for every primetime game. Week 3, Monday Night Football, Game 1, Eagles, Bucs, Philly, 5.5-point favorite, total of 46. Obviously, East Coast, low chance of stray storm. That's coming from weatherman Kevin Roth, who's a very reliable source. If you're new to the show, we have two things. We got leans, we got plays. Derek has more confidence in the plays. And today, we got a mix of both, starting off with Jalen Hurts under 237.5 passing yards, minus 110. That's a play. That's at Bet365 at the time of recording on Saturday afternoon. Seeing some 232s out there. Devontae Smith likely a go. Quez Watkins looks more doubtful than anything. I'm sure that's a big factor in the projection. But another thing here, as we saw some issues with the Philadelphia offense last week, obviously Shane Steichen going, quarterback coach from last year, Brian Johnson, steps into that offensive coordinator role. How much do you put in projections from a change in offensive coordinator, and is there less of an effect when it comes within the system?
Yeah, there's definitely less of an effect. What the Blitz does is it looks at what the coach has done when he's been in, when he's had play calling duties in the past with other teams. There's a manual component where we look at quotes and see, okay, what are they talking about doing? Basically, this guy said he was going to call plays very similarly. But what we've seen so far this year is actually not that. Last year, Philly was in a neutral context, more or less average in terms of their pass run mix. This year, they've been a lot more run heavy. And that was last week without Kenny Gainwell, where they had to rely on DeAndre Swift, who's not necessarily a guy who can carry a 25 carry load, week in and week out. And so obviously two games, small sample size, but once you account for it, the Blitz still is projecting this to be a little bit more run heavy than we expected at the start of the year. And it's seeing Jalen Hurts averaging about 210 yards in this spot. So we're getting close to 25 under, and it's the way the market's been going. A lot of books open this at 241. Most are down to 237 now, but like you said, there's some 233s, some 232s out there. And I think the under is the sharp side to be on here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Tampa does take out the same approach that Minnesota did last week, which was contain Hurts on the outside, don't let him bounce those options outside and force the run inside. But then Philly just ran the ball down the middle. That's what we saw with Swift, like chunks. They didn't make any defensive adjustment. So if they can keep running, like now that they got both guys healthy and they can run the ball without even Jalen Hurts, like there's no need to really, force the ball, I would assume, especially versus, Baker, who I know. What do your numbers say about Baker? Honestly, like through 2 weeks, people have kind of lost the stink on him, and we're probably due for something ugly from Baker.
I think we are. Like, it still thinks Baker's a below average quarterback. 2 weeks is not moving the needle enough yet.
Not changing a 5-year sample size.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on the other side, we got Rachaad White under 3.5 receptions. That's a high number for a running back, minus 125 at Bet365. That's a lean. That's a borderline lean. And we were talking whether or not this is a play or a lean. And you're more worried about just what we're seeing with White under new guidance, new quarterback play, new play calling, 14.6% targets on routes run, but he's running a lot of routes. So it can go either way. It's a big number, but certainly the lean is on the under here.
Yeah, the lean is definitely on the under, but like you said, there's more uncertainty with what this Tampa Bay offense actually is. They have a new offensive coordinator, new play caller, Dave Canales, I think you pronounce it. He doesn't have a lot of prior experience to go on. And so even the quotes in the offseason were kind of just like, yeah, we want to be flexible. We want to, work to our talent and like just nondescript stuff. So they have been run heavy so far, which you would think they would be because just of the talent on the roster. So if they are going to be run heavy, this is a high number for a running back to get to. Last year, only 4 running backs averaged four receptions per game. That's not a lot. It's mostly just the elite running backs. Are we after 2 weeks? I know White went over this by a lot last week, but are we ready to say right now, okay, yeah, Rachaad White's a guy. He's going to go out there and he's going to get 15 or 20% of the targets every week. Like, I don't think we're there with that level of confidence yet.
No, and I think if these numbers are being built on large sample sizes, not just the 2 games looking back to last year, we also have to remember that Tampa Bay was the heaviest pass team with Tom Brady
Yeah.
last year. So those numbers could be skewed if they're building these model numbers, these total numbers off his full projections or sorry, his full production over the last 2 seasons. But Rashad White under 3.5 receptions, minus 125, bet 365 for the first game on Monday night. That's a lean, but more confidence in Jalen Hurts under 237.5 passing yards, minus 110. Do you have a number? Because this is what happens with this show. We get it on Saturday, games on Monday. We're usually on the right side of the market. Do you have a number, a yardage point where we're maybe be put an extra syllable in there, where we're maybe off of this from a play standpoint and it moves towards the lean range?
Yeah. So like I said, the projection's 210. But you don't want to play it all the way down to there, obviously, because the closer you get, the less value you have. I think this probably passes from play into lean in the low 230s, 230, 231, 232, something like that.
Yep. Perfect. So there you go. If we're sitting on the right side of the market by Monday and you're looking at that, use that information at your hand. Don't just blindly bet the under on a different number. We're at 237. Like Derek said, changes everything at 232.5, 231, 230. So Jalen Hurts, we're getting at 237.5. That's a play. That's a strong one. Then Rashad White, under 3.5 receptions, minus 125. Little less confidence, but certainly a lean on that play. That will wrap things up here for first game Monday Night Football. This is the Blitz Show, brought to you by Covers. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. We'll be back for more Monday Night Football. Finally, week 3, 2 more games. Last one.